G'day, wonderful listeners. This is episode 49 of Trev's Talk, and I'm your host, Trev. Last week, I left off having sent an email to the Oz Jews Say No group using my personal email, as when I sent them the charities email, it had been undeliverable to the group. Well, sending by personal email worked out fine, as they then gave me their direct email address. So I put together an email to the Oz Jews Say No group, inviting them to become co-founders of the Scholarship Fund, and sent it away. Then the next morning, I got an email from a lady called Corinne, who gave me a polite, "sorry, but not in our scope" answer. So there you are, another block. However, I did not just give up entirely. I sent another email to Corinne, thanking her for her response and respecting her for her decision, but asking if she could direct me to a rabbi in Perth that may be interested in being part of the scholarship project. I also said I would not hassle her with more emails. So now I wonder if I will hear further from her or whether she just lets the whole thing die. I mentioned in last episode that Pete, the Aboriginal school principal, had selected 2 students for scholarships and the project would launch early next school year. He also said he would set up a meeting between him, the students' mums, and me in the next couple of weeks to let the students' mums know they will be getting help next year with their kids' school requirements. Since then, I received a formal invitation from the school to this year's graduation ceremony, which will take place in a couple of days' time. So I'm guessing that I will meet the scholarship students and their mums on graduation day. Getting a polite no thanks from the Oz Jews Say No group sent me to searching for other ways I might find an organisation or rabbi willing to co-found the Scholarship Fund project. My searching turned up a Jewish newspaper called the Jewish Independent, and I immediately wondered if I could get something into that paper in a way that may lead to me getting a co-founder. So I looked up their website and found a section where people could pitch ideas for stories. That, of course, gave me hopeful thoughts of submitting my ideas. So I boldly went ahead and pitched a story about uniting Muslims, Jews and Christians by having them co-found a scholarship fund to push back against anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. And once again, I have to just sit back and wait and see if I get a nibble that might lead to getting a co-founder. My dealings with the Oz Jews Say No group showed me that co-founders need not be limited to religious leaders like Jewish rabbis or Muslim imams. They could be humanitarian organisations, especially ones involved with the genocide taking place in Gaza. The Medjugorje Centre charity should be standing up against genocide or any social injustice, like what is happening with the Aboriginal peoples of Australia. So it may be possible to get a Palestinian group that is fighting against the Gaza genocide to take on a co-founder role with the scholarship project. These thoughts led me to ask Boris, my AI assistant, if he could tell me of a Palestinian organisation that was based in Western Australia and was fighting for peace and fairness in Gaza. Boris gave me an organisation called Friends of Palestine Western Australia and their website. I looked them up and read their aims and policies stated on the website. They sounded great, They were fighting for fair treatment of the Palestinian people. This led me to realise that the Medjugorje Centre charity needs to be an advocate for the Palestinians in Gaza, just as it advocates for the social injustice suffered by Aboriginals in Australia. I should be mentioning organisations advocating for peace and against genocide more often in my podcasts. So here is the web address for Friends of Palestine West Australia, or FOPWA. It is fopwa.org. You, wonderful listener, can look up the aims and objectives of FOPWA to find they aspire to really do great things in Gaza. They aim for peace and a state for Palestinians, just like the Jews were granted land for a state by the United Nations back in the day. Learning about FOPWA made me realise also that the Medjugorje Centre charity should have in its aims and objectives that it is willing to help humanitarian organisations in any way possible. So I've designed a document stating that as an official minute for the charity's next general meeting. From then on, we will help other groups advocating against genocide or social injustice like our Aboriginal peoples. As a matter of fact, the next general meeting is only next weekend, so I will pause here and chair that meeting before continuing, wonderful listeners. Well, here I am again, and I have a few things to report since pausing. Pete, the principal of the Aboriginal school, emailed me an invitation to attend the school's graduation day ceremony and mentioned he would introduce me to the two students and their mums selected by the teaching staff to be the very first recipients of scholarships awarded by the Moodage Scholarship Fund project. Pete said he wanted to do the official launch of the fund in the second week of Term 1 next year. He said it would detract from the importance of having the scholarship fund if he announced it at this year's graduation day. There is just too much going on at a graduation day, whereas if it was officially launched at a full school assembly in first term next year, it would have more impact. I think that could be better as far as getting some press coverage goes as well. The two selected students will be awarded in front of the whole school. I will be able to present them with award certificates and take photos for social media. I may even be able to get a newspaper interested in doing an article about it. A charity supporting the only Aboriginal primary school in Perth, with scholarships being awarded to students that benefit from primary school through secondary school and even on to university, is surely a story. And the scholarships are whole scholarships, not partial scholarships. They assist with other things than just uniforms, books, and academic education requirements. The scholarships also assist with sport, art, music, and other talents the awarded students may have. Supporters of the Moodage Scholarship Fund project get some benefits as well. They will receive really nice certificates to display at their premises. Such certificates will testify to the supporters' demonstrated care for reconciliation and education of Aboriginal youth. The Moodage Scholarship Fund project speaks powerfully against racism. Another eventful thing happened since my pause mentioned a few paragraphs ago, and it is that at the general meeting just gone, I presented a resolution which states, "Moved that in devotion to Mary, Mother of Jesus, the Medjugorje Centre charity will open its heart and resources to support humanitarian organisations working for fairness and peace among peoples who suffer genocide, displacement or loss of land, including Australian Aboriginal communities and other Indigenous peoples worldwide. So, on that serious note, wonderful listeners, I will tune out for this week. Please subscribe on YouTube or follow on Spotify and help me increase my platform by sharing, liking and commenting if you will. Thank you for listening this week and catch you again next week. This is Trev tuning out